The sun is shining. They're sitting on a seat. There's sound. There's a screen. They're seeing whatever is being seen. People. There's just what's appearing to happen. And in that, what's appearing to happen, there can be a sense that there's a you that it's happening to. And this generally goes unquestioned, although if you're at this Zoom, probably is very much being questioned. But in general, it does go unquestioned, a sense, a contracted sense that you are an individual person who has a life and is moving through life. And what's being illuminated here is that that is artificial. It's an appearance. So this sense we have, this really lived sense we have of being in the body, looking out on the world, is a story. That's not something, it is something that can be understood, but it's not any goal of this sharing that is understood, because any understanding would just be something that the person has. It's irrelevant, really. There's nothing being asked of anyone here. There's nothing required. It's a simple sharing from nothing, illuminating that actually you are no thing being everything. That's actually what you are, not this sense of being a separate entity or a separate person, an individual. That can resonate. It's a resonance. It's not an understanding. So feel free to ask anything around this. It doesn't really matter. It's not about an answer to a question. It's that it may be that the questions fall away, in a sense that there's no real question, because it's obviously just whatever appears to be, sitting, speaking, a thought, an emotion. That's the immediacy, the boundless, unknowable immediacy of what is and isn't, of what appears to be. Hi, Pramali. You may be muted there.
So, Kenneth, can you please explain the cause and effect? Like, is there a cause and effect, or
In the story, there's a cause and effect. Just as there's time is real in the story of you. There's a real thing called time, whereas time is an appearance, and cause and effect are an appearance, actually, that come from a sense of separation. So when you feel like a separate person, there's a lived feeling of moving through time and space in a very linear manner, and that causality and that movement in time are one and the same, really. Causality and time are the same, really. It's this sequential sense that there's something happening and happening to me, and it's happening, it's absolutely real, and it's happening in time and space, and that goes unquestioned. That's just the way it absolutely is that way when you feel like a person. And what's being shared is that when that sense of being a person apparently drops away, because it's not, when it drops away, it's seen that it was never actually real, so it doesn't even really drop away, but it's just seen, there's just what's appearing. And instead of it feeling like a linear movement in time where there's causality, one thing leading to another, it's unknowable, and it's new, because it's nothing being everything.
Yes,
It's complete. It's living in the unknown, as opposed to being a person who lives in a closed loop of their own knowing. So all of that is seen to just be a story, then causality.
Yes. Yes. Thanks. Yeah. And the other thing is, like, I was listening to Emerson as well, and I'm just sort of feeling like there is nothing to get, isn't it? Like whatever, like as you said all the time, like whatever happens is that I am not living in bliss all the time, or I don't have the experiences you are talking about. Like, I don't know, like I don't feel like know me most of the time. I'm
Okay,
feeling
so
like
who said about living in bliss then? Who did I say something about
no, no,
living
no,
in
no,
bliss?
you, no, you didn't. No, you
Okay,
didn't. But
I
you
just want
know,
to be really clear about that, because
yeah,
those words never came out of my mouth.
no, no.
That's a conception, or a concept of maybe something about oneness, or so. Invariably, it's this blissful, lovely, absolute, complete fucking bullshit, total fucking nonsense that people go on with and build complete religions about, and spiritual paths, and all sorts of things about this idea of some sort of blissful uh, existence and state where nothing touches you, everything is pure love. Nonsense, total nonsense. Very seductive to the person, because there's a huge sense of yearning for some. There's a sense of unworthiness, and there's a sense there's something missing. And the person, the whole energy of feeling like a person is a sense that it's positive and good, and there's a pulling in of the good and the positive and the comfortable, and a pushing away of the uncomfortable and the painful, and all of that, positive, negative. So therefore, logically, it would feel, if this oneness thing that I'm yearning for, it would be somehow all of that nice stuff, and none of that nasty stuff even gets a look in. So that's all the concept and idea. And what's actually, when this is seen by nobody, it is stunning, because it is completely beyond any idea you could ever have of oneness. Some concept of a state, or this lovely thing, da 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 da. It's completely beyond that, and totally and utterly ordinary. Of course, it's just already birds chirping, sitting on a chair, sound. It's already whatever appears to be. It's very simple and ordinary, but that's rejected by the apparent person in favor of bliss.
Yeah. So it is that, because there's nothing more than what it is. And I don't know whether it's stunning. It is that, and it is stunning in a way, like it is stunning in a way, but
so there's a comment there now about what's being perceived there. So that's fair enough then, that it's I can't describe this. These are words that are just kind of pointing towards it, but it cannot be described or known. So if it's kind of it's totally, it's completely indescribable and totally and utterly beyond the mind, completely and utterly.
Yeah. I feel I resonate with what you are saying. So what I'm trying to say, that stunningness, I don't know the word, that just a word. Sometimes there is that feeling, like it's not word, it's just feeling, but other times it's just like normal day-to-day life. But that's okay, isn't it? That's
what it is, normal day-to-day life. It is already, it is everything that appears. It is discomfort, it is pain, it is elation, it is joy, it is anything, sadness, it is everything. Everything. It's indescribable. When I said it's stunning, I was directly speaking about the concept of the person that they have of what's being shared here, about it being some kind of blissful, and it's way beyond that. It's completely, totally and utterly beyond any idea you have of it, and paradoxically completely, totally and utterly ordinary. It's just whatever. It's sitting on a chair, it's talking. It's so, you know, when you keep going back to, well, is it this, but then is it okay that it's this? It's fucking everything. It's speaking on a Zoom meeting. It's there's no Zoom meeting. It's just it's inescapable. It's totally inescapable. It's just energy, just aliveness.
Yes. Yeah,
I can't describe it. You can't describe it. Nobody can describe it. All that can be done is illuminating the futility of you know, going around looking for what already is, and illuminating the artificial nature of what we feel is so solid and real. This me, this individual. That's a total and utter story.
Yes. Yeah, and all the and
so I can't say what it is. So when you quote me and you say, well, it's you said it's this, it's not anything. It's not anything at all. It's nothing at all. So when you say, well, it's stunning, well, it's not stunning, Kenneth. No, it's not stunning. Of course it's not fucking stunning. It's not anything. So anything I point at, it can also be, it's not that either. It's just, I cannot say it. It cannot be said. It's just simply whatever appears to happen. And that is completely beyond what the person thinks it is, because the person thinks, oh, well, this is okay, fair enough, it's sitting and there's talking, but so what? I mean, there's sure, the sun is shining, but it's all filtered through this sense of me, so that the wow is never really seen, because the mystery isn't seen, because there's a living in the known. I know what I'm looking at. And that's the artificial loop of me.
I I can't say I think I get it, but I resonate with what you are saying. Thank you very much.
Thanks. Oh, hi, Richard and Susie. Hi, guys.
Hi, Kenneth.
Hi.
How you going?
Nice to see you.
Yeah, you too.
Hey, look, one of the questions I sort of, it comes to my mind, looking at, I've had a few different modalities through my life, and one of the biggest ones was the Course in Miracles. And there's a few things that are sort of been sticky with myself, just in relation to some of the stuff that I've learnt across the way. And one of the things was the script has already been written. Like, I've agreed to do everything that I'm doing now, even talking to you right now. What are your thoughts on that?
That's just a story. That's just a story. It's just another story. Yeah, all of that stuff. It's all very appealing to the person, the Course in Miracles, and it's all lovely. And you know, if it is, maybe it's not. If it appeals to you, and it's all just a story. It's all just more mind stuff the person gets into.
Yeah, because you can get caught in the mind thinking that, you know,
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's total nonsense. All it does is feed the person. That's all it does. The Course
Yeah.
in Miracles. Do you know? Otherwise, to be a course in thisness, to be like this, if there was some methodology to uh, lay out for the person, it would be done here. Obviously, like Kenneth would do the course in non-duality, or the course in nowness, or the course in, do you know what I mean? And then that, of course, and then it would just be it would then be just another teaching. And it probably would be way more successful, to be honest with you, because there's a huge appetite for that. And the reason there's a huge appetite for that is that the only gig in town is the individual. So any of these things that are popular are very attractive to the person.
Yeah.
And if it's
'cause you feel
very
like you're
attractive to the
changing.
person,
Yeah.
it shows you that it feeds the person. It
Yeah.
feeds the individual. That's all it does. This is complete and utter loss of everything. Every concept. There's nothing to hold on to. There's nothing to know. It's there.
Just what's appearing.
There is
now.
simply already just wholeness, nothing being everything. There is already no you. There is already no individual. So any way, shape, or form that I speak to an individual simply is complicit in that story of you being an individual, that there's a place called oneness to find. And it's completely different communication, totally and utterly different. No matter how you dress it up, it can appear different in the words, in the manner, and everything, but it's different. This is an illumination of that you are already wholeness, because you are nothing being everything. There is no individual you, and that is not being spoken to an individual, because there's no individual to speak to. I can't see an individual to speak to. I can see a body mind sitting on a couch, and that's life, body minding, sitting on a couch and speaking, and that's all there is. And that can resonate then. That can that can be very obvious and resonate, not with you, but there's an energy to that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it's not like when this is seen, really, all if you've been on some sort of spiritual path and you had really kind of indoctrinated into something or steeped in something, whatever it is, the Course in Miracles, Zen, Buddhism, any of that, it completely falls apart. Every single bit of it. There is nothing to hold on to. There is nothing to hold on to. There is no idea, no concept of anything to hold on to, because it's simply an idea or a concept. This is so immediately just whatever appears. It is inescapable, and it does not need any kind of idea or concept.
Sweet. Thanks, mate.
Thanks.
Appreciate it. Cheers.
Thank you.
Thanks. Nice to see you.
Likewise.
Hi, Zoe.
Hi. I just wanted to chime in and say, yes, since hearing this message, oh my goodness, what you've said, and I think I heard Tony Parsons say this too, that 99.9% of what is out there as non-duality is total duality.
Oh, complete duality.
It's my goodness, I'm just
totally enough,
blown away, Kenneth.
Yeah. Oh, totally. When it's obvious, it's obvious. When it's obvious, it's obvious. And when it isn't, it isn't. Then there are people that really think that what's being shared here is the same as person A, B, C, D, E, and it's just incredible. It's incredible that they could listen to hours of this and think it's the
Oh
same
my
as that.
gosh.
But it's fine. That's okay as well. That's just what's happening. But
That's
yeah, it
just
is.
what's
That's
happening.
just what's appearing to happen. Yeah, there isn't even non-duality. There's not even a thing called non-duality.
Yeah.
There's not even non-duality.
Yeah.
It's just a term. That's all. You know,
Yeah.
these are just terms. It's an apparent problem, and these are apparent solutions, you could say.
Oh my goodness.
There's no problem and there's no solution. There's just what's
Yeah.
appearing to happen.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks. Oh, hi, Gemma.
Hi there. Just something following on from what you were saying to Richard and Susie about concepts. I suppose where the apparent me can't have the experience of what you're pointing to, and because there's apparently nothing that a person can do to acquire or attain or achieve anything, it feels like it kind of gets stuck to the person still just as a concept because it's the only thing it can be. And then along with that, that feels dangerous, like to just be bumbling through life with this concept that everything is nothing. It feels like more should be done, but I think that's just my ego wanting to do something with it. Is that how it is? Is it,
it's not anyway, though. That's the thing. It's not anyway. It's no way. That's the way it was. It appears there. So that's what's reported there, of what's appearing to happen there. And then you'd have another person, and that's not at all what's appearing to happen when they hear this. So the person, the individual, I think I had said this at the beginning actually, that the person is not being spoken to here at all. So it's very clear that the individual can only make a concept out of this, or it can't be heard by the individual. The individual is just being an individual, that's all. So it's of no concern at all to this communication.
So when I catch my person putting it in the pigeonhole of, oh, this is a concept, I just put it down to, okay, that's just what's appearing to happen. And
because who's catching who?
Yeah.
Who's catching who? How many of you are in there playing tag?
Well, if you ask me a few
it's lovely,
ago,
really. Like, I mean, the person says, I caught myself before I did this. Who caught who? Like, what? How many people are in there, Yeah.
But, coming from like spiritual paths and meditations, it gets really messy because they talk about the observer and then the observer observing the observer and all this bullshit. And it's like the house of mirrors. It just goes on and on forever. And
it goes on forever. It's totally endless, bottomless pit of, that spiritual stuff. And it feeds until it doesn't anymore. It's very interesting how it can collapse, completely just fall apart. And it can go from being the most important thing in your life, this spiritual identity. It can actually eclipse all other stories sometimes with people. this spiritual self that's still and loving and compassionate and all of these layers of things, and it's just so seductive, and all of those teachings are just really, really so seductive, and then it just can bang just falls apart, and that's it. It's very clear then that there's something on offer from somebody, or it isn't. If it isn't, it isn't, and then it just continues to feed the person. And this, if there's a background in spiritual practices and things like that, then this can be even more confronting, because you're coming from a sense of talking about wholeness and oneness and how you can access it, through different states, and all of this. And then because then there's a kind of sometimes a lived experience of doing that, because there's a some sort of state brought about through meditation or whatever, and then it feels okay, that's it, and then I need to get that and then incorporate that into my life on a permanent basis and all of that stuff. And then this can be very confronting then.
I mean, for me, I can just say that it felt like, thank fuck, the search is over. Like, I don't actually need to do anything, because it all felt so laborious and unattainable anyway. So it's a relief, and yet there's still like that echo of,
totally,
is there really nothing I need to do?
That's very kind of common, actually. It all falls apart, but then at the same time, that's still that whatever appears to be there of that energy of you is somehow struggling and finding this a bit confronting or whatever, wants to do something, and that's also it. Of course it is. So any sense of say, for instance, being frustrated, say, by this, I'm not putting words in your mouth now, I'm just speaking generally, it could be seen then that the frustration itself is actually it, and there's nowhere to go to then. It becomes then there's absolutely nowhere to go to, because whatever appears to be happening, frustration, whatever, discomfort, is obviously just energy. So then, boom.
Yeah, that makes me think of something else that was a massive aha for me when you were talking the other day about, I don't know, you said something about it being unconditional love. And for the first time ever, I think I really understood the complexity and wholeness of what that meant, that there can be all this drama and war and all these things that we label as bad happening in the world, but the fact that we accept it for what it just is, that's unconditional love. And I was like,
but it's also beyond you accepting it for what it is, though, because you accepting it for what it is just another part. It's somebody accepting something. It's just in concept, really. I mean, it's totally beyond understanding that term. It's
another way of
beyond
saying it.
There's no way of saying it at all, really. It's just a term that points to the is-ness of everything that's beyond description. That is everything, that incorporates everything, that appears as everything, both the ugly and the beautiful.
So for the sake of this dialogue, can we say that everything is love, or that's putting it in a box still?
You could, that's the expression that everything is unconditional love. You could say that, but but it's again, it's indescribable too, So yeah, but these are words that point to the is-ness of, as opposed to the dualism of the person who lives in a world, and is that dualism of right, wrong, up, down, special, not special, all of these plays of opposites are actually from the sense of a subject, a separate subject who sees an object. They're from that sense of being a separate individual. And then when that is no longer, that sense of being a person, an individual is no longer, it's indescribable then, because there's just what appears to happen, and there's nothing in that is somehow, it's all just energy. So that is the oneness. The oneness and the wholeness that's been spoken of is so it's such a shock in a way to the person, because the person can have all these ideas of it, concepts of it, oneness. It sounds lovely, and it's so shockingly ordinary and just already just whatever appears to be. And that's unconditional love then.
Mm-hmm.
So there's nothing you could say that there's nothing that isn't, because it's just energy.
Yeah.
But it's not, once you get into like your understanding of that, then that's just, it can only ever be in concept, and relaying it to the interpersonal love, which is a meeting of needs, which is fine as well.
Yeah, it's like when you drill down and you notice your mind trying to make sense of it, it's like the person's trying to gain a knowledge of it, then you know you're in the weeds, right?
It's just there's nowhere to get to. There's nothing. There's no way it can be understood what's being suggested here, because once you understand it, it's just become a concept then.
Yeah.
And then that's not it then. But it's also inescapable. It's just simply, it's the immediacy of whatever appears to be. And if you know it, then you're somehow kind of taking a step back from it and are somehow separate to it, and you've objectivized it. It's become, and it's that's the way the person is in this half alive kind of way of being, because there's life, and then there's me with my life, and then I know within that gap, I know, and there is no gap, there is no you, there is no it. It's so immediately just what appears.
Thank you. That was very helpful.
Thanks, Gemma. And it's in that way that what's the big divine comedy is, that what's yearned for and what's searched for has never left you, because it's already just whatever appears to be, which is a brilliant way to hide, because the person, by already being whatever appears, the individual feels they're looking for something and continually overlooks whatever is appearing in favor of what could be or might be. Hi, Laura.
Hi, Kenneth. I don't have any questions. I just had that feeling that I wanted to say hi.
Okay,
And,
hiya.
hi. And I have so I just don't know how to speak, even like how to communicate. It's like listening to you and like this immediacy speaking there, and then it's like, oh shit, what should I say? Like I don't even know what to say, and something, but blah blah blah, something is like coming out apparently of this mouth here. Yeah.
Well put, Laura. Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. It's incredible. There's nobody speaking. There's nobody sitting. There's nobody who's feeling the sun on their face. There's the sensation of sun on your face. There's sound. There's just whatever appears to be, always.
Yeah. And like, for example, like previously I sensed, like I felt like, whoa, he's kind of like very sharp today, Kenneth, like. So that is like, is that the person thinking that, or is it just
sometimes it's just like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just like that. It's totally impersonal, though. I'm never like that to anybody. No, someone may perceive that I am like that to them, but that's a perception. It's completely impersonal. Nobody can ever say anything here that's somehow silly or dumb or stupid or Never, because all they are is pure energy, just unconditional love, and anything that's said is just whatever appears to be said. And there's not really any, it may seem sometimes that there's like a frustration or something with what's said, but that's not it actually, because it couldn't be any other way. There's just a passion that sometimes gets a little bit explosive.
Oh yeah.
And that's all it is. It's not like, it's because I actually there's never a sense of oh, do you not get what's been said? Well, how could you say that question or something like that? Which I know sometimes people can perceive it a little bit like that, but it's not at all. It can't be any different. So like if someone continually, if someone said, oh, is there really nothing I can do? Then that's just what's appearing to happen, for example,
Yeah.
But everything is everything, there's nothing that isn't it. So whatever bubbles up appears to bubble up. And it's amazing too. It's nothing to do with Kenneth actually. Because there is no Kenneth.
Yeah.
There's a Kenneth there's a story of Kenneth. There's life Kennethine, but there's no separate person who has some knowledge and then imparts that knowledge to somebody else. And that's why this communication is boundless. As opposed to somebody who knows something and tells somebody about it.
Yes.
That's really the difference,
Yes. That's like the sensitivity here to exactly that. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. It's a totally different kind of communication. Totally different. It's unique. It's just unique. Yeah. Yeah, indescribable. And so it's like a bit like feeling this getting hooked on it, like
well, it is such a boundless, it's just indescribable that it's such a joy really. And when it's heard and it resonates, but also like it can be so I've also seen people, if there's a sense of if when this resonates and is heard, there's sometimes no need to ever come back and hear it at all. So it's just, it doesn't matter at all. And so that can appear to happen too. Or else there's plenty who don't actually feel like a person anymore. The sense of a person is no longer there, but there's a delight in the communication. And they can come back and love that too. So anything can appear to happen,
Yeah,
it doesn't matter. And it's beautiful. Nothing is required. Like, I mean, it's the antithesis of a course. We were talking about courses earlier, because if it was knowable and teachable, then I obviously would be running 10-week courses. All I just do with my 10-week course, sign up for your 10-week course, and then you'll be there at the end of it.
That this is it course.
Do you know what I mean? So yeah, this is it course. There's nowhere to get to. And at the end of the 10 weeks, you will know that there was no 10 weeks. There was nowhere to get to. There was nothing to do. And there was no you. I can just picture the marketing person I'm on the phone to. You got to help me out here. I got to get this out there. How do we market this?
Get the t-shirt at the end. Yeah.
How do we market this? I think they'll be like, listen, you're on your own. There's nothing I can do for you. So you've got no product. You've got nothing to offer. There's nowhere to get to. They're not going to come away with anything at the end of it. I mean, just go somewhere else, please. I can't help you.
I'm quite sure still plenty of people would show
Well, no,
up.
it's such an organic thing, you see. So it's just an organic sharing. It's just a sharing, that's all. And there's an openness to it now. So it just seems that it resonates with people. And that's the way it is. There doesn't have to be, there's no agenda or anything. There's nowhere to get to, obviously.
Yeah.
And that's people sense that in it as well.
Yeah, that's the beauty of these kind of parent meetings, this agenda-lessness. It's like very relaxing in a way. Yeah. Yeah, thanks for chatting.
Thank you, Laura. Thanks. Hi, Anita.
Hi, Kenneth.
Hiya.
Very grateful for this passionate way of communication. sometimes it's still a little bit serious, but that's also okay.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
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 Thank you.
Thanks, Anita. Nice to see you. Hi, Dario.
Morning.
Hey.
The energy speaks for itself, because I actually, like, often now I don't want to be here anymore. Like, I think it's boring, and I know all the words.
Yeah, I
But-
know. Yeah, it's lovely though when it's in that knowing the words is it's so gorgeous like that. It just shows it's totally beyond words.
Yeah.
Non-duality bores the shit out of me, to be honest with you, and has for years. You know, there's a reason I don't listen to people, because all of the terms that come out of my mouth bore, in the sense, what I'm strictly talking about now are the terms, the words. The communication is stunning here to this character, but the terms themselves, they're just blah blah blah, really, in one way. For me, it's just they can either be super confusing or much less so, really, because it's still inexpressible.
It's funny how the mind always tries to get it and just find an angle to see it, but it's like unseeable.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, of course. Yeah, and then there's the ones. These really amuse me. The people who come along and say, "Oh yeah, non-duality. Oh yeah, I know, I did that. Yeah, I know it. I know all about it. Yeah." And then they move on to the next thing.
Yeah, there's nothing there.
It's like, yeah, I found it. Yeah, no, I did that. Yeah, no, I know. There's no me here. Yeah, there's no you there. That's fine. Yeah, and then they're on to hypnosis or non-dual hypnosis, or this is kind of meatier for me. This is. So they know it, and it's lovely. It's so endearing. It's, oh, you know it, do you? Yeah, no, I know it.
There are these people that have these maps, and then non-duality is one.
Yeah, it's kind of like in the
on
YouTube you see the hack. You know, it's a very big thing now to hack it. Just hack it. You know, don't do 3 years studying it. Do 3 days or 3 hours. Hack it. Get to the core of it. Then I have it. That's it. Move on now. Hack something else. So people hack it, you know, they do it to get it. What? Yeah, okay, now I know. So then they know that they're not there, and they know that there's nothing to know, and it's lovely. That's lovely too. That's just, it's obviously not wrong or right or anything.
There's no conclusion, right?
No,
there can't be any conclusion.
No, it's just inescapable. There's nobody that isn't already complete, total wholeness, unconditional love, nothing being everything. And if they feel like a person, they feel like a person, and if they're meditating in a cave, that's what's appearing to happen. It's completely inescapable what's yearned for. It's not obtainable, knowable. There's no authority, there's nowhere to get to, but there can be that sense of being separate, and that's what's been illuminated here. That's already not the case. It's just a story.
The seeking energy is the avoidance of this. So I mean, not really, but
yeah, it is. It's a continual avoidance of what is.
Yeah. It's so funny. It's so backwards.
Yeah, it's completely backwards to the way we feel, because intuitively we feel there's something to get, because that's the way life has always been for us. If we want to get somewhere, we do A, B, and C to get there, and then we have it. So then we feel this has to be the same as that. So tell me, and then that's why you get the first question is, well, Kenneth, how did you get it? Because if you tell me how you got it, I can apply that to me, and I can get it. You know, so Generally, that's how. There's
But
nothing
I
bigger.
like your marketing idea. I think that's
Yeah.
that could be so absurd that it
Well,
would actually
my
work.
good friend Frank is a whiz kid at marketing. He's really good, and he finds it very amusing because there's nothing about marketing he doesn't know. And then when he comes to this, he just starts laughing. He's like, it's just he's got a meeting tomorrow actually. Frank has. He's doing
Oh yeah,
meetings now.
Thursday.
Yeah.
It's probably email. No.
Yeah. So
Thanks.
thanks, guys. I think if you Google Frank, I'm not sure exactly what his website. If you Google him, Frank McCaughey, that details will come up there, and people can sign up if they wish. But I got to finish a little bit early today, actually. So sorry, Andy, I didn't get to your question. Thanks, everyone. I'll put a link here again in the chat for people to contribute. Thanks a million. And I'll see you soon. I sent in the email that virtual retreat, not this weekend, the next weekend, but I'll send out an email anyway. So that'll be good. Well, it won't be anything, will it? But all right. Thanks, guys. Lovely to see you. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
So,
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.
You.